All right, hello everybody. So I'm back. It's been a while, but I'm really excited to be back again, and I have some free time. So I haven't forgotten YouTube, and I really do want to make lots more videos and spend a lot more time. But it's just how it is, life getting in the way of things. Life in school, so it kind of sucks. While I was during school, I was always having to think between things I had to do and things I wanted to do. But the good news is, a couple of months ago, I kind of got demoted from being a student to unemployed. So I've had a lot more time on my hands. I'm not actively looking for a job, so it's not like that. But yeah, so I'm done with my school for now, at least, and I've just been spending some time with Unity. So the last 6 months have mostly me just been fooling around with Unity, and that's kind of what I want to talk to you guys about. I want to update you guys on what I have been doing and what is in store for this channel in the future. So I'm going to be introducing you to some of the projects that I've been working on. Now, I've worked on probably like a million projects um, during the last 6 months, but over the last month or so, 2 months, I would say, I really decided that I had to finish a few products as opposed to just starting a new project, new project, new project. So that's what the last 2 months have been about, trying to create complete projects. um, and in the essence of starting small, I purposely picked out some very simple one touch, one swipe, one tap type functionalities. Simply because while I have worked on some tutorials and some prototypes which are much more complex, shooting third person Counter Strike type games and RPG games with power ups and stuff. I just think that starting so big, every time I tried it, I was never really able to complete it. So that was the idea behind the projects that I'm going to be showing you today. And yeah, I'm happy with these projects. And during the next couple of videos, I'll actually be going through these projects and the things that I've learned, and also maybe doing some sort of a tutorial about how you guys can also learn how to make these sort of things. Now, I want you to know that I've been working, as I said, with Unity for about 6 months. So I've learned so many things, but there's still so much more to learn, and I'm really excited about that. I don't know how much time I'm going to have on my hand, but nonetheless, I do have time right now. So yeah, I'm gonna show you this first project of mine. So as you can probably see already, it's called Crazy Cabby. Now this one I've also put it live on the Play Store at the moment. I don't have it on the App Store right now. And I'm just going to walk you through what it is. Now, before I show you, I just want to, for those of you who might remember this little crazy taxi game from Facebook, now this was the inspiration. And for those of you who don't know, this is what the game was like. It was insanely fun. And that's kind of what I was aiming for. And the reason why I was trying to pretty much blatantly copy the game mechanics was simply because when you're beginning out, one of the things that I always overwhelmed myself was just thinking about the game mechanics and this and that, and I always had so many ideas and I was never really able to do it. So the idea about trying to make this game here was that you already have a finished product in mind. Of course, the challenges of making a 3D game are different from that of a 2D game. So I did want to put a little bit of spin. I do have some environment and stuff which is very different from what this game is. But generally, just knowing the core direction really helps you whenever you're creating games, and that's a real problem that I've had starting off. Not always, you don't always have a team of developers and designers, and the designers giving you, all the models and and the design team basically telling you the direction of the game, which is how it's done in when you're working on it full time in a company usually. If you're talking about an intermediate to a big scale company, you have a lot of the work done for you, and when you get the code I mean, when you get the project description, you don't have much of a say in how the project is going to be. You're pretty much told that, all right, look, these are the art assets, and this is the direction of the game, and these are the features. So, of course, it's a little bit boring in that sense that you're creating someone else's project, but you do have a direction, which beginning developers, especially like myself, I always struggle with. So, this was. The reason why I picked this one was simply because I enjoyed playing this game a lot when I was a kid, and I thought, hey, why not? Very simple, and as I said, it's going to be hopefully a stepping stone onto bigger things. So enough of me talking and a little bit more of me showing. All right. So now you can already hear the music. Um, I did use some music, but now I'm going to mute it just so it doesn't just to make sure that it's not too loud. So here we have the main menu scene. Now you've got some options here. The how to play is just some text which is telling you, the game dynamics. Swiping is what the game works on. Now at the moment it says swipe, but I also have it configured for my laptop with my keyboard, so that's what I'll be using right now, but it works perfectly on the mobile as well. We have stats. Here we're storing player prefs. Um, Now, I do realize that player prefs are not the best way of storing information, is because if the person decides to delete the application from their mobile, of course the stuff goes with it. But as I said, this is in the essence of starting small. I didn't want to get into anything more advanced or too detailed at the moment. So yeah, this worked out really well. You've got your score. Your high score, we've got some pickable items, gems, and then you've got like a little lifetime tab as well, um, which is a little bit odd. You're probably wondering why my total score is less. That's just because it's just on my PC, because I introduced this total score much later, and if you notice this ridiculous amount of high score, I was just playing around with the scoring, so you have to believe me that it works. Um, but this is just something that the lifetime feature is something that I implemented at a later time. We do have store, but I haven't really made anything in it yet. It's not very difficult, but just something that I haven't really got around to, and I don't really know if I'll be coming back to this project. As I said, this was my first project, and already I'm looking back to it and I'm kind of ashamed of it. But I guess that's the right way, right? If you're looking back at your projects, and if they're better than your current projects, then I guess you're doing something a little bit wrong. Not necessarily, but yeah. So ideally, you want to, as you progress forward, I'm going to show you a different project as well, and I felt that I learned a lot of things from this one, and moving forward, they really helped me with the other projects that I've been working on, which feel just a lot more polished. So I'm gonna go ahead and hit play right now and show you what the game is. Um, so here we go. I hope this shows up well on the recording. So we are this taxi, and we're just jumping through these cars. Now you can see the pickable items, and some of you might have already noticed the environment changed a little bit. The other cars are obstacles, so of course when I hit them, I die. And it shows you a nice little transition, and it shows you the score and the gems you picked up, and you can replay it. Now, let me just fix this for a second. In fact, let me just restart it. The reason why it's showing this error is because one of the libraries that I'm using, Tapex, it's supposed to show up an ad. And at the moment, when the game finishes, because it's expecting to show an ad there, I've just been too lazy to put a if clause just to check that, oh, if you're on a PC, it shouldn't try to run that piece of code, but that's what's causing me problems. But it works out just as it's supposed to on the mobile. So walking you through the game again, yeah, so this is the second environment, which was kind of going for the grassy plains type of look. Now you can see sometimes there are two cars stacked, and they are much more harder to jump over. So the person is encouraged to look for the easier path. This, by the way, what you see here is the third environment where you're kind of cruising by the beach. And yeah, at the moment there's these three environments, and you've got these obstacles and such. Now, I did also learn in the process about implementing Google Analytics, Crashlytics. I also tried a new library called TapX. Now, it's not very popular, so we'll see where we go with that one, and if I'm gonna stick to that for my future projects or not. But yeah, so this is the project. I hope that you've liked it, and I'm gonna be probably going through the code for this, or maybe starting from scratch and teaching you guys how I built this and the things that I learned during this journey. I also want to show you the other project that I've been working on, and I'm also really happy about that. So I'm just gonna go hit play here, and let's see. So there's the music going on. I'm gonna just let it run for a second. Yeah. So let's just see. Just gonna tune it down a little bit. Just use my mouse. Okay. All right. So yeah, hopefully you can hear me. Yeah, so this was the second game that I'm working on, and already you could probably notice the huge change, in the visuals. Let me just maximize this. Oh boy, I'm gonna have to change the settings again. Let's see. Hmm. Okay, yeah. So sorry about that. We're back. So yeah, already you can hopefully see the change in the professionalism, the environment. In case you missed the main menu transitions, I'll show those to you again. Um, So at the moment, the rate button works on the mobile, but of course, as I said, I've stopped it from working now on, the editor because it's not going to work anyways. I'm going to go ahead and just mute the audio for now. The share button also works, but again, I've stopped it. So the share is the social share where you can just kind of, it pretty much goes in your Android phone. It looks for all of the basically social media in your phone, and you can pretty much send it to WhatsApp or your messenger or through a simple text message and such. Also want to show you something now. Actually, I do have, yeah, so this mute button has been implemented. It's not 100% perfect. I'm going to fix it, but it works for now. The how to play. So there's like a little transition on the lava, and you can see the rules. Tap and hold to power the jump. Power too much, you die. Power too little, you die. And power just right, you progress onto the platform. So this is a very simple game where you're going to be jumping from one platform to the other. Before I show you the core gameplay, I just want to talk about the focus with this game was not to make something very complex. In fact, the gameplay is actually even simpler than the Crazy Cabbie, but the idea was to make something visually stunning and immersive, and that's what I've been going for with this sort of a music, the eerie music and such, and the lava, and how realistic the lava looks. I've really fooled around with some of the color correction and visual effects with this. So yeah, without further to do, let me just hit play and show you what the game is. You probably noticed that there was a little camera fade in and move back lerping motion here. So you get another visual cue in case you didn't read how to play. So you tap and hold for power. You've got your little power bar here. You've got a little pause button. Again, I want you to notice the finesse of the basically the menu transitions, and that's something that I learned. And you didn't see this in Crazy Cabbie. Everything was just a bit jerky in that. So I'm really happy with the progress I've made in between these projects. If you restart, then it works smoothly. It will go back to the main menu as well, and you can see the lava tempo falling down, the buttons coming in, fading in. So yeah, about the game core game mechanics, it's very simple. You tap your screen, it loads the power bar, and you jump onto the next platform. If you if you jump on the near edge of the platform, it walks to the other edge. So if you there's a little waypoint, invisible waypoint here at the very edge, and I wanted to standardize the place where the person was jumping from, because before I put in the walking movement, what was happening was if a person jumps at the middle of the platform, they were making these little mini hops all the way to the edge anyways, and that was irritating me a little bit. So I didn't want that, and that's why I implemented this walk animation. So you jump, and if you land on the edge already, he's not going to go anywhere. But yeah, if you land somewhere before the edge, then um, he starts walking. Um, so yeah, the idea with this game has just been to make something visually beautiful, coherent, and stunning. You can see some different idle animations already, in case you didn't notice that, and all of that has just been done to make the game a lot more immersive. Regardless of how simple the game is, I just really wanted to make something beautiful, and something that looks professional, even if it's very simple. I do have some more plans. I don't know how far I'm gonna go with them with regards to making this game, um, a little bit more complex. I don't know. I'm a firm believer in beauty and simplicity, with which I'm going for this. And believe it or not, this game, I actually find myself playing this game a lot, even in my free time, and not just because I've made it. Now, there are some bugs which might come up. They do rarely come up, but I'm still in the process of fixing them. This is not live on the Play Store or the App Store right now, but I'm hoping for both with this one. Um, and let me just show you what happens if you die. So if you fall into the lava, again, you've got this smooth game over menu transition. It shows you your score, and you can play again. Um, so yeah, it looks a little bit easy since I'm playing it, but actually it's a very tough game, and it requires a lot of uh, as you progress into the game, jumps get bigger and bigger, and at one point you'll be using these massive jumps, and it becomes really exhilarating. I feel in my stomach actually gets a little bit queasy, but maybe that's just because I'm not too good with heights or something. But when you're making this huge jump, it just feels a little funny. Um, so yeah, this is the second project, and I've been really happy with the results so far. And I even showed this to a couple of my friends, and they just kept playing it, and that made me pretty happy as well, because it meant that I was doing something right. The idea again was to make something simple with my existing knowledge, right? And just go through the procedures, go through the things that I know, but just complete a finished project. Now, there are some things that are still to do. There are some bugs that I need to fix. I'm still thinking about this little power bar type situation to make it a little bit visually more appealing. I'm also actually thinking about. For a brief while, I was experimenting, and I removed the power bar completely and pretty much let the person kind of trial by death and have no visual cue of the power. And that was really fun as well. So that's something that I'm kind of thinking about, though I think that's a little too brutal. So I might not go with that, but I might go with some sort of achievement unlock type situation where you can unlock the hardcore mode for people who are really interested in trying that, because I thought that was a flavor that I did want the people to have. This is one of those kind of irritating games where you kind of die and you're like, oh man, I want to play it again, and you want to just keep playing it over and over again. You have your best score here, and yeah, the leaderboards right now, they're not implemented. I'm not really sure. I think it would be cool, but I'm not really sure. It's not very difficult, but I'm not sure if I'm going to go through with it or if it makes sense. Um, so yeah, that's something that I have to think about. The audio as well, it's not complete. I have some more ideas, and the audio is a little bit placeholder right now, but I may or may not go with it. Um, but yeah, so these are the two projects that I've been working on. There have been other projects as well, but they are far from finished, and they're just prototyping. And those are some pretty cool things as well, and I'll show you later on um, as we go on. But these are the two projects that I wanted to show you, some cool, fun stuff, some complete projects. And I really do want to go through and maybe discuss these in more detail, things that I've learned, things that I've done. And yeah, if you're interested, then just drop a comment, drop a like, let me know. I'm hoping to make a couple of more videos, especially starting from Crazy Cabby, because that's in more of a finished state. Now, as I said, it was my first game. So yes, the techniques and the things that I'll be using, um, might not be the best, but they work, and that's really something that I've uh, pretty much learned during these last 2 months. Where in the past I was just learning and learning and learning and following tutorials, but really just couldn't build anything of my own. But now I'm really proud that with the experience that I've had. It's really helped me, and it's given me a lot of confidence, because gaming, making games is not always fun. Making the core mechanics of the game are very easy, usually, in at least the kind of games that I've shown you, the one touch, one tap, one swipe type games. But doing a lot of dark work, behind the scenes work, which doesn't really show you some visual feedback, but you have to do it, optimizations and making it run smoothly on different devices, testing. It's a real pain. Also, implementing things like Google Analytics and other crash reporting mechanisms. Also, if you're thinking about implementing some ads and such in your games, all of that is quite. It sounds like something that you think like, oh yeah, okay, sure, I'll do it when the time comes, but it's really it gets a little bit tricky. Especially when the libraries and the plugins they start battling with each other, and you need to change some versions and this and that and all sorts of headaches. So yeah, the last 2 months I've been doing a lot of things, but the actual building the game part is not that time consuming as compared to doing the other things and getting them all just right. Level design, for example, is something that's taken up a lot of my time, even with something so simple such as this particular game, because you need some visually stunning assets which are also optimized and which run well. So yeah, those are just some things that I'll be getting into more and more into detail, hopefully, and I hope you guys stick around. If there's something that I'm doing wrong, or if the videos are too long and such, do let me know, and do please just leave a comment, leave a like. That really encourages me. I did try YouTubing before, as you guys know, and I had a really good first impression. A lot of people just contacting me on Twitter and just letting me know that I'm doing a good job and asking me for help. So that really made me happy, and that's the whole point of this little experience that I'm hoping for, because I've always learned in my life that teaching is the best way of learning. Every time I have taught people, anything that I know, I've always just like somehow it's odd, but I've always just ended up getting better at it. So you could kind of like just think of this being like a selfish reason for me wanting to do this, because I just know that I've learned a lot of things with these two projects. But if I start explaining it to you guys, and I'm just gonna get better, and hopefully you guys will also get better. And yeah, that's all that I had to say for now. Just spoke too much, I guess. But yeah, that's all for now, and I'll see you guys soon, hopefully. So bye bye for now.